Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you could join me. In this part of the video, we're going to be driving up to Buffalo Mountain, or on Buffalo Mountain, in Johnson City, Tennessee. And this part of the trail is actually considered a 1 on ONX, and I believe that's the way the name of the app is called. And I agree with that. This is a 1. It's a very pretty area. You could probably get a higher clearance car. You don't necessarily need 4-wheel drive. Wouldn't recommend the lower clearance because it is somewhat rutted out. There is gravel, but the area of the road is rutted out. Again, this is a very pretty area, and it's up to a tower, an overlook. And there's actually, as you go on up here, a couple miles, 2 or 3 miles in, I believe maybe even 3 or 4, there's actually a trail that's rated a 2 or 3. And there was part of the trail that was driven about halfway into that section. But if you do take that trail, be under the impression or know that if you have a mid-sized truck, there's a good chance of pinstriping unless you're willing to stop ever so often and do some trimming, which that was done in this video. I did make it up some of that trail, but not all the way. I did have to turn around, as you'll see. But I don't want to show you all this part of the trail. I just want to show you bits and pieces of it, again, because it was a very pretty area. I'm going to fast forward through or get through some of this part of the video and get you to the actual trail that was the fun part. So as we come up to this curve here, there's actually looks like there's a trail off to the right. Didn't realize at the time that it was actually gated. It did look like it would be pretty fun. It wasn't necessarily very narrow. It just looked like a fun trail. However, as I turned to the right, noticed it was gated, and I did have to back out and continue on up to the pinnacle or to the tower portion of this trail. But let's continue on. So right here I kind of stop and contemplate if I really want to do this trail or not. It looks rather narrow right here. It does open up later on. But I will say as you go further up the trail, it does get a little bit more narrow in terms of brush. I made it up halfway up the trail. I didn't want to continue on it because it was too much trouble to actually continue to trim the brush, so I did stop and turn back around. I would say that this is 2 or 3 in terms of rating, and it's very indicative of what they said on ONX. That's very accurate. In terms of actual clearance, I'd say you could probably get a stock level truck or stock Jeep up here. It isn't very technical in a sense of just rocks or just needing a high clearance vehicle. I would say you need a high clearance truck or just a higher clearance 4-wheel drive vehicle. I think I might have used 4-wheel drive maybe once, maybe twice. Don't really know if I necessarily needed it or not, but I did make use of it a couple times just in case. So as we finish up the last bit of this journey, I just kind of look back at the trail and just kind of think, honestly, of how much fun in the automotive world it can be. I mean, just, the last video we talked about, I saw a little bit of the Dragon, and there was a very scenic area. This is a very scenic area, but it's a different type of pace. It's a very slow pace driving off-road versus driving fast. But I would say at the very end of this video, you'll see that it was a very good drive. It was actually very good to get to the end and see the overlook, see how beautiful the area is. Again, it's a different type of beauty driving fast and seeing the mountains that way. I would say this area in the fall is gorgeous, just the same as the back of the Dragon would be in the fall, or it is in the fall. The automotive world can take you to a lot of beautiful places. And I hope that you all continue to join me. Thank you for being a part of the channel. Thank you for just being supportive, and I hope you all continue to be supportive and continue to join me along in these journeys. But again, thank you. Enjoy the rest of this video, and I will see you along for the next ride.